And since it's the client, they kind of build the same product. So that is why you will hear that I want to go into product based companies, because as a developer you do more work, you do more innovation, you do better development if you're placed in a product based company. Okay. And when we talk of profile, so in the same company, let's say if you are placed in Adobe, in the same company you will see there is there's a software developer, there's a testing, there's a tester, there's a system admin, there's network administrator. So basically there are a lot of profiles inside a company as well. So you will see that the same company is giving different kind of packages. So why the packages differ? Because the role for which they are hiring, that keeps on differing. Okay, in some, in some colleges they will go and they'll go ahead and hire software dev, somewhere they'll go and hire testers. But considering the college you guys are in, you are one side, you guys are lucky enough that most probably, all the good companies will be visiting your campus. So that is one good thing. And I won't say you guys are lucky enough, but I'll say you guys have worked enough to worked hard enough to reach to a place where the companies will be coming to your campus. So you need to utilize that particular opportunity. Okay. The second thing that's out there is that most probably companies will be coming for the profile of software development if they're coming for a tech profile in your campus as well. Now let's say there are different companies. How to decide which company should I go forward to? How things matter for me after I get placed in a certain company. So basically, first I have divided the companies in majorly three categories, and I'll tell you like what happens if you get placed in a certain company or if you have an internship for that matter. So let's say if you're placed in company like Amazon, DShaw, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Adobe, Flipkart, a lot of companies, product-based companies. So there you have package generally 15 to 20 lakhs, and I'm telling in-hand salary, which means the salary that you'll get in your bank account. You will hear the salary 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, and you will also hear the salary of 1 CR. So the salary that is 1 CR is when you get placed in some other country. Okay, let's say you get placed in Amazon Seattle. So there your salary will be as per Seattle. Okay, your salary will be in dollars. And if you convert that salary in dollars, sorry, in rupees, then you will see it will be 80 lakhs, 90 lakhs, 1 CR. So that is when you are placed outside India, in the US or some other country. On the other hand, if you are placed in India in same companies, you will be getting the package of, again, you'll be hearing 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs. So what happens is that out of these 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, you have 15 to 10 lakh, 15 lakhs as the stock component, which is something that you will get on annual basis. And it's not like, all 30 lakh you're getting in the bank account, but 15 to 20 lakh, or I can say 13 to 18 lakhs. Okay, 13 to 80 lakhs. If you are a fresher, I'm just giving you a minimum salary. Okay, at least we can keep it 13 to 20 lakhs. If you're a fresher, you will be getting in your bank account. So that's the enhanced salary. So needless to say that if you're a fresher and if you're earning 1 lakh per month, it's a really nice salary to get started with. You will be able to just have that life where you can just buy anything that you want, and you can just go ahead and fulfill all your desires that you think that if I get a job, buy this, I'll buy that. So you will be pretty much financially independent, and you will have strong financial over there. That's from the perspective of package. Okay. Now talking about the second thing is that if, let's say, what happens is that the money is one thing, you get that once in your bank account, but 9 hours to 10 hours or 8 hours to 10 hours you invest in the office, you work there, you need that particular time to be really, you need to enjoy what you're doing, and for that you need to do things which is contributing to your growth. So in product based companies, what happens is that you generally go ahead and develop things. Okay, this is not 100% true, but most of the time you develop things from scratch. Whatever you have learned, you implement it in real life. Okay, you will go ahead and you write algorithms, you will write coding, you will develop products, your products will be used by people. So these are the things that's going to happen if you are a fresher and you're placed in a product based company. You will have good work. Okay, so this is the second thing, the kind of work that you do will be really amazing, and most probably you will enjoy doing it. The third thing is the people that you work with. You know that they are the best minds of the country. So you will see that there is an energy flowing which will contribute you, which will force you to push yourself. Not forcing is not the right word, which will motivate you to push yourselves, because you're working around with people who will motivate you to be a better version of yourself. So what happens at the end of the day, on daily basis, you keep growing. Your growth is really, really amazing. Okay, as a result of which, if let's say after 1 year or 2 years you want to switch, So let's say if you want to switch from Microsoft, where will you go? You'll go to Amazon, you'll go to Dshow, you'll go to Uber, you'll go to Facebook. Again, or you'll go to certain startups. If you even if you because there are many startups who easily pay, to a fresher they pay 10 to 15 lakhs, okay, and they welcome you if you're from product-based company. So switching will also be an easy game for you, and you will look for better opportunities. So that is why these product based companies are something that people look forward to, because after that you are doing good work, you have good pay, you have good growth, you have good people around. I'm not sure about the when I say good people, which means really technical sound people, okay. So if you go to your job and you find someone really mean, don't tell me that you told me I'm going to get good people. So I'm just telling from the perspective of technical knowledge, okay. Now, the second slot that we have is the companies like Samsung, Oracle, InfoEdge, or various startups. So there also, it's a fine situation to be in. My first placement myself, what I saw was Samsung. So there again, the package is good to go ahead. Like mine was 8 LPA, but I'm sure even Samsung is not now having 11 or 12 LPA of salary, which is again a good salary to get started with. You will not have to bother about money. Money will not be a problem with you. You will have a comfortable life. Okay. The second thing that happens with these companies is that if you are, let's say, placed in a team, so it varies a lot on which team you guys are in. Okay, you will see that some teams have really good work, but some teams don't have good work. But that is something that is not in your control. Okay, that's not something in your control after you get into an organization. So what you guys can do is that, let's say if you have good work, then you can continue doing that. If you feel like, no, I'm just doing like fixing issues or something, in that case what you can do is that you can try and switch from the company. And if you try and switch, if you're working with some good startups, or if you're working with companies like Samsung, Oracle, or MNCs, you will be able to switch easily. Okay. Now the third is the situation if you are placed in a non-software profile. So when I say non-software profile, so some of you might be going as business analyst, some of you going in that profile. So that's an entirely different profile. That's based on interest and it's fine. But now let's say you go for the system admin profile, or you go for the testing profile. So some people again like that profile, testing profile, or there also there's coding, there's automation, there's manual testing. But if you don't like that work, okay, if let's say you feel like, no, I want to be a developer only, in that case switching becomes a bit more complicated. So in that case you'll have to first work on your skills, and you have to go ahead and take your skills to the level of a developer, because a person who worked hard, complete 1 year as a developer, you're going to compete with that person. Okay, so in that case you'll have to work on your skills, and you'll have to uh, you know uh, I'll say enhance your skills. So I'll just talk about what skills I'm telling you about. So needless to say that the person, this particular person, if you're placed in this category, after college your struggle will be least. Hard work will be there, but your struggle will be least. But if you're placed here, your struggle will be max. But one thing we all know, that this person has struggled the most in college. So more you work hard in college, more you struggle in college, less will be struggle after the college. So I told you that if you're getting placed in a certain company, what will be the scenario? Okay, and obviously it is not 100% true. There are some companies which pay really less, but they have really amazing work. But now obviously out of 100 companies, if there are 5 such companies who pay less and have amazing work, and there are 50 companies who are, let's say, paying also amazing, they are giving amazing work also, then I'll go as per the probability wise, I'll target for those 50 companies, right? Okay, so now I would like you guys to decide for yourself what is your dream company, or I'll just put what is your dream package. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and I'll tell you how things are going to differ in terms of placement process if you're placed in a certain company. Okay, I'll end the poll now. Okay. So I see 96% of you have said greater than 10. Okay, 74% of you have said greater than 15. And we have 4% of you have said who have said greater than 3 to 5 or 5 to 10. Okay, so now I'll tell you what just now I told that this person has worked the most hard, worked hard the most in college on a certain skill. And this person has not worked on this skill at that skill that much. So I think you guys might be already aware of that. So can you put in the chat box that what is the most important skill that is going to make the difference of which company you guys are placed in, especially if we talk of category A, B, C company that's mentioned over here. What do you think is the most important skill? Can you put in the chat box? Okay, I'm getting a question how to get internship in first year. I'll take all the question towards the end, but I'll take this question. So don't bother about getting internship in first year. You don't need to bother about getting internship in first year. You should bother about working on your coding skills. I'll talk about that in detail. Yeah, so I think many of you are saying it right. So it is actually your problem solving skills. So basically, if you see, almost all the companies, starting from Amazon to Microsoft to Samsung to TCS to Adobe, Google, so all the companies who are hiring software developers, good companies hiring freshers as software developers, they are having their first or second round as an online coding round. If you do not clear this particular coding round, you will be rejected from the very first round itself. Okay, so now what is going to happen is that yeah, so now what is going to happen is that where is the difference? The difference is in the level of coding skill that these companies are asking. So if I talk about the company like TCS, I'll tell you earlier, like 4 5 years back, even when I was in college, the funda of TCS was simple. What TCS used to do is that it would go in some of the IITs, okay, and they would pick up some software developers from IITs. That's what they did, okay, and then they will go to NITs and other other colleges and other, depending upon the college, they did the bifurcation that if this is the college, I will hire software developer. If this is the college, I will hire system admin. If this is the college, I will hire system engineer. This is the bifurcation that they had. But now what they are doing is that all of you might be knowing that they have an a national level exam, and if you are doing good in that exam, then no matter which college you've come from, you will be getting the profile. So now all the companies are focusing on one skill. Needless to say, which company you're coming from, which college you're coming from, they are looking for good coding skills, good problem solving skills. The only advantage one might have is that the company might come in the campus. If you're belonging from a college where companies visit the campus, in that case, things will be comparatively easier for you. So do you guys have your dream company visiting in the campus? So if you know this thing that it does visit, so like some of you are in first year, so maybe by the time you reach the company that is visiting today, maybe by after 2 years when you go in final year, they don't visit. But still, I would like you guys to go ahead, talk to your seniors, and get a rough idea on which sort of companies are visiting in the campus, because you have to be prepared accordingly. If you have to go off campus, then you will have to work more on your coding skills. What I mean, not more as in everyone has to work. You have to work on your coding skills, participate in coding contests, get ratings, ranks, put that on your resume. So these are the things that you'll have to go and do. Okay, so coming back, so talking about the coding round, almost all the companies who are good companies who are hiring freshers as software developers, they are having the online coding round as the very first or second round. Just the level of coding will change. The level of coding problem that comes up will change. So some company might just ask you like a question of binary search. Okay, in some round there might be a question of binary search or modified binary search. If you know my binary search, eventually you will be able to solve them. Some company might ask you direct implementation of dynamic programming. Okay, you know DP, but even if you know the basics, you will be doing. Some companies while give you might give you really, I'll say, in-depth implementation of dynamic programming, in which if you have not practiced dynamic programming really well, or for that matter graph or trees or any question, or for that matter if it's not it's let's say the question does not use any data structure. So let me tell you, last year I think Goldman Sachs was having the exam, and in that there was a question in which there was no data structure that was being used. That was purely logical question that was being asked, and if you have good logic, you will be able to solve that problem. So it's just that the level of question will vary from company to company, and more you work on your coding skills, better your chances of cracking the rounds are going to be. Now, in case you're wondering that, is it just one coding round? What happens after that? So actually, it's the for product-based companies, it's not just one coding round. They will have one online coding round, then there will be elimination, and then there will be 4 to 5 coding rounds again. In every round, they will be asking you 2 coding questions, and there might be some questions from your project, and some basic will be there. If you talk about many companies like Samsung for that matter, there they will ask you coding, and then they might ask you questions from OS, DBMS. So apart from coding, there are a few other important subjects as well, which I'm going to tell you guys. So as I said, problem solving skill is important. Then the other subject that you guys should study is operating system. Okay, whenever you have it in semester, study it really nicely. First of all, it's a very interesting topic, very interesting subject. Then aptitude, I'm assuming you guys can do like 2-3 months before placements. And everything I'm telling you works for internships as well, especially for product based companies or MNCs. They will ask you the same thing in internships as well. Okay, now we have another thing, which is database management system. So database management system you will majorly find in your returns. Okay, so some companies, very few companies, they ask some questions of DBMS in their what's it in their interview as well, but you will find some questions of DBMS from return. So again, whenever you have it in semester, you study it well, it will eventually help you in placements. Then you have computer networks. Computer networks is again not asked by many companies, but it is there in the returns of some companies. So again, whenever you guys have your computer network, study it well. Not all the topics are important, just the topics that are there in the syllabus. Now, another thing is that the companies talking about which language you guys should choose. So honestly, companies don't have any favorite language. They're absolutely fine with any language you're using. You're using C, you are using C++, you're using Java, Python. As far as coding rounds are concerned, most of the companies allow all the 4 languages. They are absolutely fine. There is no special preference to given to any particular language. Okay, and then apart from that, what other thing that's out there is that you will have MCQs in which there might be questions from structures, pointers, unions, oops. So you should try and take up one language, master that language. If you take any language from C++, Java, Python, you will master oops concepts. So let's say you picked up Java. So you will know Java, you will know the OOPS concepts. Once you have mastered Java, you have done coding in Java and you know Java, you're confident, then you can pick up C language so that you understand C language. You also understand the concept of pointer structures and unions, and you can handle that. If you, let's say, pick up C++, anyways, in this case, you will know both pointers and oops concepts in one go. Okay, so don't worry. When I talk of how to master competitive programming or competitive programming in detail, then I'll give you a suggestion on which language you guys can start with. But apart from that, for companies, any language is fine. And apart from that, we have projects. So in case of projects, any project is fine: web development, Android development, machine learning. I would suggest first work on your coding skills, first master your coding skills, and then you guys can go ahead and take up the projects. Okay, and even if you have built a website which with an e-commerce website, or let's say a social media website or an e-learning website, that is also a project. And even if, let's say, what happens with I'll tell you about the project. So the thing with project is that once you have cleared the coding round, you sit in the interview. So the interview will ask you what sort of projects you did. They will ask you coding questions and then what projects you did. Okay, so whatever project you did, they are not expecting you to do really big projects. And they are expecting that whatever project you have done, okay, obviously it should not be like really just one page of project, but whatever project you have done, you should be able to answer questions, and they should feel like you have done the project, and whatever tech you are using in that project, you have sufficient knowledge. So don't worry about project once you guys have mastered coding skills. So people in first year and second year, you go ahead and work on your coding skills dedicatedly. Don't even think of project right now. If you're already doing it, finish it, fine. But not, I'll suggest first work on your coding skills, competitive programming skills. And once you have worked on that, then you can take up a project. Okay. And apart from that, people in third year and final year, I would suggest that since you have limited amount of time before your placements will start, if you have not worked on your coding skills, I would highly recommend that you work on your coding skills. Again, see what are the companies coming in the campus. If companies are coming in the campus, then you might just say that during the summers you were learning JavaScript or you were learning React and all. That is also fine with those companies. Okay, and if you already have done a project or you have internship lined up for summers, then congratulations, it's amazing. And people in first year and second year, you should try not to wait till final year for getting the placements. You should try your level best that by the time you reach third year or by the mid of third year, if companies are coming your campus for internships, you should be able to crack that as well. And for that, you have to work on your coding skills. So now the question is that I'm telling all the time, work on your coding skills. Now the question is how to build required coding or problem solving skills. So I'll talk in detail how to work on your coding skills, but I will halt here for 10 minutes in case you guys have any query based on what I have asked. Don't ask how to master competitive programming, how to start coding from scratch, which language to choose, because that is what I'm going to anyways talk about in the next 1 hour. Okay, so now can you put in the chat box if you guys have any question? In our college, no one comes. Don't worry, Rishabh. If no one comes, then you can go off campus. As I said, that if the companies are coming in your campus, then the only benefit is that it's coming in your campus. It's like else, if you have the right talent, you just go work on your resume, work on your ratings and ratings and ranks. Put that on your resume, send to the companies, and you will be getting the calls. Does college matter and degree matter in getting placement in product based companies? So Rishabh, degree matters. Product based companies for freshers, they generally expect you to have either BTech or MTech or MCA degree. Okay, so for software developer role, if you are let's say BC, you will have another profiles. Talking about the college, so honestly college don't matter. Okay, the only advantage if you're from a good college will be obviously there is some sort of I'll say mentality that goes around, but apart from that, if you're from good college, then companies will come in your campus. And let's say, like even when I was, let's say, there are many colleges who are, let's say, IITs or NITs and amazing private colleges, but not all companies are visiting that campus. But you will see that many students are getting placed. So colleges won't matter if you're working hard. Does CGPA matter? So I would suggest all of you, since most of you are in first year, to maintain a decent CGPA. Try and maintain a decent CGPA. Okay, why? Because you're just in first year. You might feel like after you go in third year, you might feel like I want to do MBA or I want to go for higher studies or MS. So in that case, your CGPA might matter. For placements, try and maintain CGPA above 7. Okay, and if you're going for, let's say, higher studies or anything like that, I would suggest above 8. How can I apply for internship? So these companies keep on conducting hiring. You will see that Goldman Sachs, Amazon, Microsoft, Google has Google Kickstart. So these companies keep on conducting online coding rounds and hiring challenges. And if you participate and you do good, you'll be getting the shot. Sahib, the very first step is to, Sahib is saying, I'm in first year. Is it possible to get good internship in second year? What is step? So if you are in first year, Sahib, then just get started with your coding skills, problem solving skills. This is the first and very important step. Arpit, I don't have an intern in third year. I've been doing computer. Should I do the project and get an intern based continue with the CV? So it depends. If you are doing competitive programming, Arpit, and you are confident enough now that you can crack the companies that you're willing to crack, and your skills have reached to that level, then it is absolutely fine. Go ahead and finish the projects. But on the other hand, if you still don't have that much of confidence and you think you need to give your next 3 months dedicatedly on doing coding or doing programming, in that case, just do the programming. You said you have some unfinished projects and you want to get internship based on that. So what you can do is that rather than trying to get internship based on unfinished projects, just finish those projects once you are done with your coding skills, and you can put those projects in your resume. And when the as I said that you should try your level best to get an internship, but whenever there is a limited amount of time and there's a trade-off between problem solving and code and projects, And if you're looking to get placed in, let's say, category 1, 2 companies that I shared, in that case, I would suggest to first work on problem solving skills. Okay. I'm sorry about that. Which language mainly we must focus? So, Andrit, I'll talk about that. How to improve coding skills? I'll talk about that. You mean we have to maintain at least 8 CGPA for software tech companies? No, no, I did not say that. I did not say that. So software tech companies, some companies just have cutoff of 6, some companies have cutoff of 6.5. So for placements, CGPA does not matter that much, as I said. But what will happen is that if you're going for, it might, you're just in final year, going ahead, you might feel like you want to do some, you want some admissions in universities which look for CGPA, you want maybe go ahead and do higher studies, so their CGPA might better. Difference between coding skills and C++. So C++ is a language. So just like, some of you said that I have got good communication skills. Some of you said that. So, there are two things. Number one is that I know English really well. Okay. I'm like, I know English really well, but I don't have sufficient ideas in my mind that I can use English to, speak, take that ideas out. So English is just a medium. I can just do that, whatever I'm talking to you guys, I can do in Hindi, I can do in English, I can do in French. No, I don't, that does not mean I know those languages. I'm just telling you that I can do in various languages. So that's just the medium. But the ideas that I have, the thought process that I have remains the same. Similarly, in coding, C++, C, Java, they are just the mediums. How to improve logic? Okay, I'm skipping the questions related to competitive programming. What about Amazon or Google, Oracle? Do they look? No. So all the companies have a basic cutoff of 6.5 CGPA, and they're fine with that. Okay, so what I will do is that, does the CSE non-CSE branch matter? So Aditi, no, mostly. So the only thing is that when companies go in some campuses, they will say that I'm going to only allow electrical, electronics, and computer science and IT. So that's like, there might be some sort of, I'll say, restrictions from the company side. But there are many companies who will allow all the branches, and you can crack them into, what is the CGPA must be in first year. So Trilok, give your best to the CGPA. Okay, whatever, try and, why I'm telling you, try and maintain a decent CGPA, because what happens is that we invest so much of time in our commodity programming skills, somewhere, our just CGPA just goes off. But that depends upon the college as well. Okay, so many times the question papers are not that tough. So give some time, even if we know that even if we spend some time before exams for studying, we will be able to maintain decent CGPA. This is the truth. We all know that we don't have to work every day and every night for that. Just basic revision of what's being taught, and then you just go ahead and study sometime before the exams. Don't I'll say, don't spoil your CGPA purposely. That's what I want to say. Okay. Is it enough to master C language? So just C language is not sufficient, Divyansh. You have to master coding. So yes, it will add value. Everything that you do will add value. So let me now tell you guys. So what I'll do is that for the next 1 hour, we'll go ahead, we'll get, we'll indulge deeply into coding and competitive programming. I'll give you guys the path. Since I see many of you in first year, I won't be taking too difficult question for you guys. I'll start from really basics, and one by one, I'm going to tell you how to go ahead in your coding journey. Okay, so how to master competitive programming basically. Let's do this. So all of you, I want all of you guys to grab pen and paper with you. Okay, all of you just grab pen and paper and just type done in the chat box when you guys have pen and paper with you. Okay. So to start the journey of coding, many of you said that you have not even started. So to start your journey of coding, first of all, start today. Okay. Don't keep thinking I'll start tomorrow. So even if people who are in first year, they're all you are almost at the end of first year. So you're going in second year. People in second year, you are almost in third year, and people in third year, you have time. Don't worry about it. I don't want to tell you are almost in final year and panic you guys out. So you have time going in final year. So utilize your time well. So basically, it's the right time for all of you to start coding if you haven't, to restart coding if you started and you quit. So, how many of you did coding but you were not able to do it, so you just quit? Or for that matter, just because of you were not able to manage time or one or the other thing, you had to quit. Just type quit in the chat box. Okay, let me tell you guys, I'll give you guys one free advice. Okay, anyways, I'm doing that since beginning of the session, but I just want to tell you that don't quit. It is okay to have struggles. It is okay to get demotivated. It is okay to take a small break, and it is okay to feel like I'm not able to do it. But it is not okay to quit. Okay, just don't quit. Remember, everyone who has mastered competitive programming or everyone who has achieved anything in life, it is just go and talk to that person. If whether they have had any struggles, whether they had the issue of time management, whether they had the issue of just trying and not getting the results, the answer to all the questions will be yes. Then why are they successful today? Just because they did not give up, they did not quit. So just remove this quit word from your dictionary. Okay, and as I said, it's okay to get demotivated. Every one of us get demotivated in our journey. Sometimes we feel like just hitting ourselves on the wall, that we are working so damn hard, why we are not getting the results, why we are not improving. So just pause, see what is the problem, and then start working towards it. Okay, so first thing you need to do for people who have stopped is to restart the journey. Start today. The first thing that's required in competitive programming is to choose a language. So let me tell you, many things required in competitive programming you guys already know. You guys already have the idea. You have been doing math since almost 15 years. Okay, you have been solving problems, you have been solving puzzles, you have been solving aptitude, you're solving physics problem. So you have done those things already. It's just that here what happens in coding, you solve a problem using your brain, using pen and paper, and then you write a program. So here you just need to know a language so that you convert your thoughts into a program. So choose a language. So talking about the language, the highly recommended language for competitive programming is, can you guys make a guess? What is the highly recommended language for competitive programming? Okay. Yes, actually it is C++. So C++ is highly recommended language. Let me tell you, I myself coded in C when I was in college. I faced many issues, and when I restarted coding, I coded in Java. Okay, and then again when I was trying master competitive programming again, then I started C++ as well. So I not like it happened that I had to learn C++ and I had to solve more and more problems. Then I started learning C++, and that's when I realized the benefit that you get when you're learning C++. Okay, so Java is also having many of those benefits, but C++ is having, like, number one, what happens is that in the beginning of the journey, if you use C, C++, Java, Python, at least C, C++, Java, Python makes things too much easy. Okay. So if you're using C, C++, Java, then your journey will be pretty much same in the beginning of the journey, because your problems are all about logic building. There isn't any data structures, algorithms implemented. But as you go ahead in the journey, you start participating in coding competitions and you start solving questions of DS algo. So with C++, it has got STLs where you will be able to solve, the implementation becomes easier. So the idea is that if you are looking forward to one language to get started with competitive programming and you're looking for a suggestion, you will find it C++. You go ahead and you see any video of competitive programmers, they will suggest C++. Okay. This is one thing, but I don't suggest everyone going for C++ without thinking much. This is for people who are fine with learning a new language and then getting started. For people who are already struggling with learning the language that you're currently learning, let's say you somehow struggled and learned C. You somehow struggled and learned basics of Python. You somehow struggled and learned basics of Java. So Java is also absolutely fine. Okay. So now let's say you somehow struggled and you learned these languages. And now I'm telling you learn C++. So for these people, just start with whichever language you know. You know C, you know Java, you know Python, you know C++, whichever language you know, you do it. So when I say highly recommended language, okay, so just like, if I have to buy a car for that matter, there are so many cars. So there is a car that is highly recommended. But let's say if I take any other car apart from highly recommended car, does that mean that I won't be able to drive that? Does that mean that, the car is just not going to take me to the places that I want to go? No. It might have its own some of the disadvantages, but I can definitely go ahead and do. Maybe it will not have that sort of luxury. Maybe it will not have that sort of suspension or something like that, but it will have things and I will be able to do my things. So similarly, people who are struggling with one language only and somehow you have mastered that language, or you have started in that language, you can start your journey with that language. Eventually, once you have the confidence and you yourself feel the need of switching the language, you can switch the language. And people who have the appetite of learning a language, or if you already know C++, get started with C++. I hope I was clear to you guys. Okay. So now how to get started. So I am writing for basic, really basic problems. Okay. These are like really basic questions. I want all you guys, whatever language you know, that just write code of these four problem statements in your laptop, not your laptop actually, notebook, pen, paper that you guys are using. Just write code for all these four uh, you know questions, and once you are done, just type done in the chat box. If you could do all four, then amazing, just type done in the chat box. If you could do just two or three or one, just type how many you could do. I will give 5 minutes to each of you. If you guys have C language in the course, many of you are saying that I have C language, then learn C language. There's no problem. And while learning C language, do coding. So one semester you learn C language, and then next semester you can pick up C++. It's absolutely fine. And once you know C, learning C++ will be easy for you. If you know C++, learning C, Java, anything. Once you master one language, learning any other language becomes easy. I'll give 5 minutes to all of you. And people who could do the first one already, for you, here is the question. So I have shared a link. All of you try, and people who could do all four, do these questions, do this question that I've shared in the link. Okay, and the rest of you try and do it. Okay, so now guys who could not do all the questions, so I see rest of you, can you put in the chat box how many you could do? So people who could not do all the questions, just put 1 2 3 4 0 in the chat box. Okay, so I'll tell you. So people who could do all four, one thing I know for sure is that you have a strong language fundamental. You have good hold on the topics that I'm mentioning over here. Okay, my command Z is not working. Okay, so I'll just write it here itself. So input output. Loops, operators and expressions, decision making or if else switch, okay, excuse the functions, classes, objects if you are using object oriented language, the basics of classics objects, and the other one is data types. Okay, so these are the basic topic that you guys need to know to get started with. So if you know, some of you said that you already have C in your semester. So if you are already learning C, you learn C or you learn C++ or you learn Java. In most of the cases, in any language or JavaScript for that matter, the concept of loop remains the same. It's just that there will be minor syntax changes. The concept of decision making will remain the same. So if you learn one language, then these concepts remain the same in other languages as well with minor syntax changes. Okay, so now if any one of you could not do the question number one, which just means that you need to go ahead and learn input output in any language. So in case of C++, let's say it's going to be scene, it's going to be scanf, let's say, it's going to be sysout, let's say, in case of Java. So depending upon the language, you are going to go ahead and learn this. So this is just information. So the second part is write a code to take two integers as input and add. Again, for this, you need to have good concept of input output and operator expression. So if you know these two things, there is something called addition operator. You will be able to do this. Now the third part is write a code to find remainder of a number when divided by 10. So now what happens over here is that first of all, I should know that what is the remainder of a number divided by 10. Many of us get confused like what's the difference between remainder and quotient. Okay. And many of us, what we do is that we do 46 by 5 and we write, sorry, my word, 46 by 10. And if I ask the remainder, people say 4.6. So first you have to have the clarity what is going to be the remainder of a number when divided by 10. So can you guys tell me that what is the remainder of a number? Okay, my laptop is behaving a bit weird. Anyways, so let's say if I do 465 by 10, can you guys tell me what is going to be the remainder? 465 by 10. Okay, now can you guys tell me if I have this number and if I divide by 10, what will be the remainder? For this number, what will be the remainder? Yes, it is 9. So first thing you guys need to know is that how to find the remainder of a number in coding, okay, or whichever language you use. Again, when you will be learning operators and expressions, you will see that there is something called modulo operator, which looks like a percentage. So if I do this particular number modulo 10, then my output is going to be 9. Okay, so there is something. So this is just the information you need to know. For that, follow any nice book, any nice tutorial, or any sort of lectures as well. Okay, now the question here is write a code to find last digit of a number. So now in coding, in the beginning, you have straightforward questions like add two numbers, divide two numbers, take three numbers, and do this. Eventually, the questions will become logical. Like they will not tell you directly this has to be done. You will have to find out that okay, to find out the answer I have to divide a number by 10. Similarly, in case write a code to find last digit of a number, here if you see if you would have already solved this problem and if you observe, then any number divided by 10 will give you last digit of a number. So if you directly try solving this question, then you might face certain issues or certain difficulties. But if you have solved this problem and then you solve this problem, then it will be easy for you. So this is the journey of coding, how it starts. It starts really from understanding a language and then eventually increasing the difficulty level of the problems. So now what is going to happen is that you already know the basics. Now you need more and more problems. For that, you need to go to coding platforms. Now, talking about the coding platforms, I have already shared one of the link to you guys. I want all of you to open this link if you are joining the session from your laptop. I'll just put it in the chat box. Okay, just type done once you guys have opened this platform. I will share the link. I will share my screen as well. Okay, so this is a link to a question that I am going to discuss. Okay, so apart from that, as I said, that you need to go to coding platform for solving more problems. So one thing, the reason I'll suggest you other platforms as well. And the reason I am suggesting this platform, because this is India's only personalized coding platform. So once you guys go ahead, choose competitive programming, you guys have a practice mode, and you get in which you get a lot of questions, okay, a lot of really amazing competitive programming questions, topic wise. And then you have personalized mode, in which you get questions as per your skills. So right now you guys will not be able to see personalized mode. You will have to sign in, and then take an onboarding test. So in personalized mode, you will get questions as per your current coding skills. If you're starting from scratch, you will get questions from scratch for every topic. Topics will be there, but the level of questions will be as per your skills. So you guys can go ahead, and especially people who are starting can try personalized mode. People who already know the basics of coding and you want to do more practice, then you can just go ahead in the practice modes that's out there. Apart from that, even if you're coding in CodeChef, Code Courses, it is absolutely fine. So there are many platforms. The agenda is to solve more and more questions, because more questions you solve, better you become in coding skills. And the questions, I'll tell you, all the platforms have good questions, so you can try any platform. Okay. So now let's say if you go to myport.prepwise.com, the first thing we will have to do is, if you go to, let me open fundamentals for you. So let's say you start with basics, that you multiply numbers, you divide a number by 10, and eventually you will see that you get a question, first digit of an integer. Okay, so what I will take is that, since we have like just 1 hour more left, so for 45 minutes I'll take the questions, and then I'll take your questions. So I'll directly take one medium level question for a beginner. Okay, one medium level logical problem I'll take, and then I will show you how to solve any coding problem in general, starting from basics to DS algo. And once we have solved this, I'll tell you how step by step you will go ahead and continue in your journey. So now if you go to again any coding platform, you will see that there is a problem statement. So this is a problem statement. Basically this statement just tells you what has to be done. Okay, like when you get maths question paper, you see that, okay, this is what has to be done. So this is the question, this is the input output format. So if let's say someone asks you to write the code to add two numbers, then you have to be like, give me the two numbers that I have to add. Okay, if you're making a calculator, in calculator what happens, we give two numbers and the calculator adds it. So the two numbers are the input. So the input format will tell you that how what is going to be the input format. For output format, it will tell you what will be the output. And then here you have certain examples. Okay. So what I want you guys to do is that first go ahead, understand the question. The very first and crucial part is understanding the question. I want you guys to give some time. I again give you guys 5 minutes. First, understand the question. And once you guys have understood the question, we will go ahead. And if you haven't understood, I'll let you know. So now, how do I know that you have understood the question, or how will you know that you have understood the question? For that, I will give you guys a number, and I want all of you to tell me. So basically, all of you try and understand the question and tell me what will be the output for 23. Okay, you don't have to write the code. Using pen and paper, understand the question and tell me what is the output for 23. All you guys. Okay, I'll give you guys 5 minutes. Okay, I'm repeating, you don't have to solve, just tell me what is the output for 23. Okay, so I'm getting 36, 37, so 35. So I think most of you have understood the concept. There might be, okay, this 26, 26 is not. So all of you just cross check your answer. 35, 35, 36, 37, 37, 33. Divya, all of you just cross check your answer once. And I'll give you guys 2 more minutes for people who could not crack it yet. All of you give your best. It's just understanding a question. Even if you have not done coding in your life, you'll be able to do it. Okay, so let's now try and understand the question. So whenever you are understanding the question, take your paper with you, pen and paper with you. So we start reading. So Rahul is living in a colony containing n houses. So whenever there is a number or there is any variable, it's important. So note it down. And as you read, just keep framing the story in your mind. So Rahul is living in a colony containing n houses. So there are n houses. He needs to label each house with a number from 1 to n. So it's like there are n house and a labeling has to be done. 1, 2, 3. Each house will be labeled with a distinct number. Each house will be labeled with a distinct number, which means every labeling should be different. I cannot put two houses as number two. Rahul wants to know how many digits he will have to write down as he labels the house. So I'll frame the story again in my mind. Rahul is living in a colony containing n houses. Every house will be from number 1 to n, and he has to label all the houses how many digits he needs. So here I'm a bit confused, what do they mean by digits? So I'll see the input output format. Okay, so the first line of the input contains integer t denoting the number of test cases. This means how many examples are going to be given to us. Okay, each of the next t lines contains one integer denoting the value of n. So it will be told to you first that you're going to receive 5 inputs, and then 5 inputs will be given to you. And for those 5 inputs, I'm sorry, for those 5 inputs, you have to give 5 outputs. So I see this is the t here, then we have 12, then we have 10. For 12, the output is 15. For 10, the output is 11. So I want to see that how the output for 12 is 15. So for that, what I will do is that I'll keep it very basic. So one thing we do is that we keep staring the screen and we think that we will understand. So you have to go ahead and just be really raw, write the things. Okay, so I see these are the 12 numbers. Now I have to count the digits. So start counting from here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So basically every individual is a digit over here, and I have to count how many individual digits are over there. So that is the question. So let's now do for 23. And I want all you people who have given me the answer, now don't give me the answer. Okay, you have already given. People who haven't given the answer, just tell me what is going to be the output for 23. All of you do the calculation and give me the output for 23. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. And over here, do I have anyone who is having this feeling that, oh my God, how did rest of the peoples understood the problem so fast? I could not understood the problem so fast. Any of you are having this thing in mind that I could not understood the problem in such a small duration? Okay, so all of you who are having this thought process, let me tell you, people, I could understand because I have taken this question so many times. Okay, and others who could understood, which means they have done a lot of coding, at least basic programming to a great extent already. So if you could not do it, that does not mean that you cannot do it, or you don't have that capacity. That just means you need to solve more problems. If you see, this is question number 43. You have to solve at least 15 to 20 questions before this question, so that you are able to solve this question fast. So you just need to do all the questions that's out here in the fundamentals. You need to do all the questions one by one, and eventually you will reach out to that particular question. So first do all these 17 problems. So people who are starting from basics, first do all the 17 problems starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go to practice section and try and solve medium to hard level problems. This is how the journey is going to be. If you directly jump here, you will not be able to solve it. I took it because obviously I cannot solve all the problems in in this 1 hour session. So yeah, so I see most of you are saying 37. So I won't even count. I will go ahead with 37. So 37 is the number. If you count all the digits from 1 to 23, we are going to have 37 as the answer. So now there is one achievement. I have understood the question. So the next thing that I have to go and do is to solve the problem. So now how will I solve this problem? So again, I will give you guys 5 minutes to crack the logic. Okay. So for cracking the logic, you first thing that you do is that you see that when I was counting the number from 1 to 37, what are the steps I followed. That steps could in itself be the logic. So just try, and if any one of you have written the code, you can put in the chat box. Rest of you give 5 minutes. Okay, I'm not giving you guys sufficient time. I know 5 minutes is less time if you are solving this problem for the first time, or if you are not done sufficient practice. If you have done sufficient practice, you'll be able to do in 5 minutes. Okay, so all of you just try and do for 5 minutes. And people who have written the code, just try and submit your code. Okay, so I see some of you have solved it. Some of you who could not solve. Some of you, okay, so people who have written the code, just submit your code and just type accepted in the chat box if your answer is accepted. Okay, I got one accepted. Rest of you try and see if your answer is accepted. Okay, so people who got got the answer accepted and no recursion, try and solve this problem. Okay, because I'll take this problem as I go ahead. And the people who don't know recursion, you guys can try this problem. Okay, so now people who could not do it, let's try and solve this problem. So basically here, as I said, that I'm going to first see what are the steps I followed to get the answer. So the steps I followed is that go to each number from 1 to n. Okay, maintain a sum. Okay, let me put it this way. Count the number of digits in each number. Okay, and the third thing that we have is that keep adding in the sum, or maintain a sum which will keep the, let me put it this way, maintain a sum and keep adding number of digits. Okay, so now let's say this is the logic that I had with my mind, and I have written it on the paper as well. Now I have to convert this logic to code. So to convert this logic to code, I need to know if I have to go to each number from 1 to n. So can you tell me what is the programming concept I will use if I have to go to each number from 1 to 10? Like if I have to keep going to the numbers, 1 and then 2 and then 3 and 4 and 5, what is it that I'm going to use? Yes, I'm going to use a loop over here. So I'll start writing for I equal to 1, I less than equal to n, I plus plus, sorry, I less than equal to n, I plus plus. Okay, so now loop is there. I have to count the number of digits. So now I will not tell you how to count the number of digits, because you are in question number, let's say 20 or 30. So by now you might have already done how to count number of digits. And if you haven't done that already, don't worry, you have to follow the same process of using whatever concepts and count number of digits. So I'll skip that. So now I'll count number of digits, and I have to maintain the sum as well, right? So what I'll do is that I'll keep a sum variable, and I'll keep adding the number of digits in this sum. But now here there are two things that we did not see. One was this constraint, and the other one is time limit. So the constraint says that the time should be t will be 1 to 23. So t is fine. I can keep the data type of t as integer. Here it says that n will be from the value n to 10 to, sorry, n will be from 1 to 10 to the power 9. Okay, so here my sum is 0. So just imagine, if n is 10 to the power 9, the sum is going to be a really big number. So if I simply do int sum, then the number is big. It will go beyond 10 to the power 6, 10 to the power 9, and I will get arrays. So here, this is where you have to use the right data type, else you will get wrong answers. Okay, so now the other thing is time limit 1 second. So if you see, if I go from again 1 to 10 to the power 9, if I go to each and every number and I try and count the number of digits, what will happen is that I will get time limit exceeded, which means the code will take more than 1 second to give me the answer, as a result of which I get TLE, time limit exceeded. So now the next thing you guys have to do is that, first of all, it might happen that you have already done, you have already invested 1 hour, 1.5 hours in this particular program, and you felt like, oh my God, so much of hard work and TLE, then don't worry. You see this as an opportunity to learn more and to push yourself more and use your brain more, because this is the whole game of coding. More you use your brain, better it becomes. Okay, so now you have to do the optimization. So for optimization, you will again go to your pen and paper. Now what I'll do is that you have to keep thinking. Okay, and eventually what will happen is that if you keep thinking, you will realize, again, write all the numbers. So let's say if I have to write numbers, find out for 1000. If someone gives me the task that, Mamta, go ahead and tell me how many number of digits are in 1000. So am I going to write all the numbers from 1 to 1000? It will take so much time. Okay, so what I can do is that I can write the numbers like this: 1 to 9, 10 to 99, 100 to 999, 1000 to 4 times 9. Okay, so now when I write numbers, okay, I don't need for more than that, but let's put it 4 times 9. Okay, and let's say 10,000 to, let's say this. Okay, so now what is going to happen? Why I have written this way? Because all the numbers from 1 to 9 will have 1 digit. All the numbers from 1 to 9 will have 1 digit. All the numbers from 10 to 99 will have how many digits? Can you guys put in the chat box? Right. All the numbers will have 2 digits. Now from 100 to 999, can you guys tell me how many digits there will be? 3 digits. From here, we will have 4 digits. All the numbers will have here 5 digits. So now I know that from 1 to 9, all the numbers are having 1 digit. How many numbers I have from 1 to 9? What is the count of numbers from 1 to 9? Can you guys tell me? Yes, it's 9. So the total count of digits from 1 to 9 is 1 into 9. Now from 10 to 9, can you guys tell me how many digits do I have? From 10 to 99. It is 90. From 10 to 99, you have total number of digits as 90. Okay. Similarly, from 10 to 999, total number of digits is 900. Can you guys make a guess what is going to be the number over here? 9,000. Here. Okay. So now I already see a pattern that is being formed over here. Okay, I wrote it wrong. Thanks, Divyansh. I wrote it wrong towards the end. I'm not sure if I can delete it. Let me see. Yeah, okay. Everything got deleted. So I'll just let it be. Okay. So now if I see a pattern here that we have this number starting from 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. And here 9 remains constant. The number of zeros after 9 keeps on changing. It becomes first it's 1 0, then 2 0, then 3 0. So earlier what was happening, if I had to find from 1 to 4 times 9, I have to run my loops like from 1 to 9,999. And here again, I have to use loop because I see that there are things that are repeating. And there's some sort of constant increment that's happening. But here I have to run my loop only 5 times. So here again, I have to do a bit more of thinking that if I have to find from 1,000 to 5 times 4, how I'm going to do that. And then I will write the code. But I'll pause it and I'll take another question. But this is how you solve the problem. And this is whole enjoyment is, solving the problem step by step. And it's, if you see, this is a really, yeah, interesting thing to do. Okay, so how many of you who are solving a competitive programming problem for the first time and you enjoyed it? Just type enjoyed in the chat box if you enjoyed it, because my agenda at least is to develop you guys, you know, your interest in competitive programming. Okay, so now I'll quickly take another question since we are running out of time. Okay, so now what you guys need to do is that this is how you start with. Obviously there won't be someone to give you hints at all the stages, but you know, you keep pushing yourselves, you will be able to do it step by step. So now if I go to fundamentals, I will do the questions. Now I go back to topics. After fundamentals, I have to do arrays. Okay. So now what will happen is that for arrays, obviously, I learned 5 topics, 6 topics, like for classes, objects, data types, input, output. That is not sufficient. I need to learn more. So this is the game of coding. Keep learning, practicing. So now you need to learn arrays. Okay. Again, follow any book, lecture, course, or whatever. Okay. But follow any resource, you know, till strings, honestly, even if you follow a book and you understand everything line by line, you will understand things, hopefully. So now arrays, you understand what are arrays, why we need arrays, why is it that till now I was able to solve problem without using arrays and now I need arrays. What is an array, why do we need an array, how to define an array, how to declare an array. Okay, and how to go through elements of the array. So you need to learn the theory part first, learn all the theory part that's out there with the help of a lecture, tutorial, or book. And after you have done that, after you have, you know, while you were learning arrays, theory of arrays, make sure you write 1 or 2 problems of arrays, like, you know, whatever problem you see in the book or in the lecture. And after that you come back here and you start solving problems. So now here you will start again from the basic problems. Now let's say you open this problem. First, the way to solve the problem remains the same. The way won't change. It's just that now you have one extra tool that you can use to solve the problems, which is an array. Okay, so here it says, congratulations on making up to this question. Let us give you a fairly simple array problem to solve. If you know how to iterate through the array, you will easily be able to solve this. Okay, so the problem statement is simple. Given n elements, find the minimum and maximum among those elements. So you are given, let's say, 20, 30, 40, 100 elements. You have to find out of 100 elements, how do I find the maximum and minimum number? So if, let's say, you did not know array, if I give you to solve the problem, you will just get confused. You won't be able to solve it. Now you know arrays. Now you know that you can store those 100 numbers in an array. And while going through this array, you just have to keep 2 variables, minimum and maximum. And here, if you know the basics of operators expressions, basics of logic building, you will be easily able to solve this problem. So you will be, you know, this is how you're going to start. So this is an easy problem. Eventually, you will increase the difficulty level of the problem. So let's say there is another problem here, unique color shirt. So I'll skip this. So let me go to another question. So there's some repetitive question. There's some issue the team is going to fix. Okay, so there is another question, find the missing. Okay, so the question says, okay, so I'll give you guys some time to solve this problem. Okay, so how many of you don't know arrays at all? Okay, all of you know arrays. So I'll quickly give you, okay, people who are new to arrays, you will be able to do it. And people who are already good with coding, you will anyways be able to do it. Sorry, I've given you the wrong question link. Okay, so try and solve this problem for 5 minutes and try and come up with the logic. Okay, just try and come up with the logic. And then I will tell you how to solve this problem. Okay, so now, so this question again, in this question, there isn't anything like if, you know, that you could solve this problem with arrays. So the thing is that the only way arrays help you over here or in any question data structures help you is how do you store the numbers. So here the question is that you're given n numbers and from 1 to n, and there is one number that is missing. Okay, and you have to find out that particular number. So obviously what you guys can do is that one option is that you go ahead, you store an array. In that array, as you are iterating through the number of the array, number of the elements through the array, you just go ahead and just mark that, okay, this number is there, this number is there, that number is there. So this is again logic, the logic building that you have worked upon. And as you solve more problems, this logic building becomes stronger. The second option that you have is that you just go ahead, calculate the sum of the array. So let's say if you're sitting in an interview, so this is a very famous interview question as well. So if you're sitting in the interview might ask you to solve this problem, and the interviewer will tell you that you don't have to go through and find the, you just don't have to go through and use any extra space. How will you do that if you don't have to use any extra space? So in that case, there is a logic that if there are n numbers, you will find the sum of the n numbers. So for finding the sum of the n numbers, a very common formula that is out there. So can any one of you help me with what is the formula to find sum of n numbers? Yes, it is n into n plus 1 by 2. So you simply go ahead, find the sum, you find the sum of the elements that's there in the array, and you do the subtraction. So you will get the number that is missing. So basically, this is how, this particular problem is, I'll say again, a very famous interview question as well. And here you can solve this with the basic knowledge of arrays and good logic building skills. So this is how one by one you guys are going to go ahead and increase the difficulty level of the problems that you guys are solving. You'll first solve the easy problems. So here again, the questions are repeated. So team is already seeing what is the problem, but eventually you will increase the difficulty level of the problem that's out here. If you see this arithmetic problems, okay, so if you see this arithmetic progression, so this is a problem which will require more time. So the previous problem you might be able to solve in 1 hour or 2 hours, but this problem requires more of your effort. So basically, this is how one by one you're going to increase the difficulty level of the problems. So people who are already can easily solve the medium level problem of the arrays, I would suggest you guys can try this as well. I won't be able to take in this session. So now what's going to happen is that I again go to the dashboard. Okay, so in this is a feedback wala platform where for every question you have to get to, the platform wants to know why couldn't you solve. So you go from fundamentals to arrays and then strings. Okay, so in strings, what's going to happen? You will again have to learn strings. What is string? Again, know the basics of strings, and then you start solving questions of strings. So once you have done question till strings, you guys need to start participating in the coding competitions. So you guys can start participating after you know strings. Okay, you won't be able to solve all the questions in platform coding contests, but you might be able to solve one or two. Now what happens, why you should participate in coding contest, I'll tell you. So one way to go for problem solving or competitive programming is that, first of all, obviously if you're doing competitive programming, you should participate in the coding competitions, and the ratings and ranks that you get in these coding competitions you can put on your resume, and it will make your resume really strong. The other thing is that if you go ahead and you participate in coding contests, you get to know many topics. So here one way is that you go and you do the things topic by topic. If I go to personalized mode, you go ahead, you first do array, string, recursion, math, searching, sorting, dnc, queue, segment tree. So these are the important topics, by the way, for competitive programming or for problem solving in general. These are the topics you guys will have to know one by one. Okay, these are the important topics, and this is a very comprehensive list of topics that you need. So like in case of maths, there are further things that's out there. There's permutation, combination, prime number, GCD, LCM. So all the questions will be there in maths. So these are the exhaustive list of topics that you guys need to master. So coming back to the contest, so many times, let's say you start solving problems, and then you participate in contest. You could solve one problem or two problems. So what will happen is that the problem that you're not able to solve, always after the contest, see how that problem was solved. That will give you a lot of idea. So how many of you are at a place where you're participating in the contest, you're able to solve problems up to a certain level, but you cannot increase the difficulty level of the problems you're solving? Every time you participate in the contest, you could solve the same level of questions, and you just cannot increase the number of questions that you guys are solving. So how many of you are at that stage? Okay, a lot of you. So let me take an example. So let's say there is actually already a coding marathon that's going on. Okay, so I'll go ahead, I participate. So in the beginning, I would suggest you guys to take part in long format challenges where, 7 days, 10 days, because there you get sufficient time to think, to solve the problem, and to learn new concepts and then solve the problem again. So let's say if you participate over here, if you guys have to participate, so the first thing you will do is that you will see which is the problem that is having the maximum submissions and is having good accuracy as well. So if you see this problem, help clay is having maximum number of submissions. Okay, and this problem, even fight, is having good accuracy, like it's like 81.82% is accuracy, but again very less people have attempted this. So you can start with attempting the problems which has maximum number of submissions, and generally maximum number of submissions comes with good accuracy as well. So let's say you could solve help clay problem. Let's say concepts till searching, sorting. Okay, till sorting you guys are sorted. Okay, or let's say till strings you are sorted. You try and solve this problem. Maybe you are able to solve it. This problem you are able to solve it. Now you're not able to solve the third problem. So after the contest, see how this third problem was solved. Okay, so you will be most probably in any platform, you will be able to see the solution. You will get the editorials. So let's say if I go in one of the past contests, let's say, okay, this is March. So let's say if in this case you could solve two problems, but you could not solve the third problem. So you tried, but you could not. So you go to third problem, you go to all submissions. Okay, you go ahead and you see the concept. Like if this is you choose whichever language you guys are coding in, you choose the status accepted. So any platform, this is the same. These things are going to remain same. And if you see, there is a basic thing that's out there. There is no data structure algorithm that's being involved. So now what you can do is that you can try and understand what was the concept behind this approach and why I could not do it. So there might be some basic logical building skills that you need to work more on, or maybe this particular approach came up with due to some concept. So you need to work on that particular concept. On the other hand, let's say you saw a problem and then you see that the problem was solved using segment trees. So if you are able to solve, see the third problem, fine. Now go ahead and see the fourth problem. Okay, let me go to this problem directly. Okay, so now if you see over here, DP is being used. Okay, so now you are at a stage where you only know things till strings. If you jump directly to DP, you will not understand anything. So you will park DP. You would be like, I will be learning DP. But before that, what you will do is that you will go back here and you will start learning the other things, which is recursion. I don't know where's the path. Okay, so you will park DP. DP is a concept that you need to learn. So you will start learning recursion. Always see just two more problems that you could not solve and follow that concept. Okay, I jumped ahead and I saw the sixth problem. Let's say the fourth was solved using trees and the third was solved using recursion. So you come back, you study recursion. Now, starting from recursion to data structures and algorithm, what is the method to master that data structure or algorithm or that mathematical concept? Is that you first go ahead and you read that particular topic or you understand that particular topic really well. So if it is recursion, before you even start solving the questions of recursion, you will study recursion really, really nicely. Okay, so let's say you go ahead and you learn you understand what is recursion, how to pass how to call the recursive function, what happens after a function that was called is coming back, what is the next line of code that I have to get executed, that will get executed. Write some basic code of recursion. And one of the very important part in understanding DS algo or recursion or any complex topic is dry run programs. Take 4 to 5 different programs, which again you will find in this contest section. You guys can explore this contest section later on after this session. Dry run 4 to 5 problems of recursion or any concept it is there. Okay, take pen and paper, run each and every line of the code, and you take out the output. Okay, and once you take out the output, your output should match with that of the program that you run. And if you are able to do this for 4 to 5 problems, that is when your concept of that particular algorithm is clear. Okay, you understand what that algorithm is. Now the second part is to do the practice. For practicing, again you come back to the coding platform. If you see over here, you start with the easy problems. If you go directly, let's say you did amazing practice but you go directly to this problem, you will not be able to solve it. Or even if this problem, you will not be able to solve it. So no one is going to ask you these easy questions, but these easy questions will make you ready for the medium problems. These medium levels will make you ready for the hard problems. Okay. So you go ahead and you solve all the problems one by one. And I gave one recursive question. So, okay. So in this question, again, even if you don't know recursion, all of you will be able to understand what is this question. So the way to understand the question remains the same. Now, the second part is coming up with the logic. So now every data structure algorithm or mathematical concept, they have a certain crux. If you understand that crux, like in case of recursion, what is going to happen is that you have to see all the possibilities. So you will again take pen and paper, you will see all the possibilities, what are the outputs that can be generated. So first you will solve using pen and paper, and then you will see make the recursion tree, and then you will try and convert that to code. So you start this with the first question that's out there, and you keep doing, and eventually you will be having really strong recursion. So the reason we get stuck in our competitive journey is because we stop learning concepts, or what happens is that we think we are learning concepts, but we are actually not learning concepts in depth. So people who are getting stuck, they might be like, you need to learn more and more concepts, and you need to practice, not just learn, practice and master more and more concepts. Do this, what I'm telling you, and you will see the eventual growth that will happen in your competitive programming journey. Okay. So now let's say after you have done recursion, you need to do the same thing for searching, sorting, and all the data structures and algorithms one by one. Okay, so I think I'll finish the session over here. It's almost been 2 hours. And in case you guys have any question, you can put in the chat box. Before that, I will just share so this is the MyCode platform where you can do all the practice for free. And if you guys need any help with your competitive programming journey, you guys can explore this export coder program. Okay, I'll just share the link. So people, most of you, since you are in first year, I'll highly suggest this program for you guys. And in case you guys have any question, you can put in the chat box. I'll be happy to take the questions. And people who are practicing for their interviews, you have this interview preparation marathon on MyCode, which you guys can explore. And again, one thing I would like to say that all the courses of PrepBytes, at least the competitive programming courses and placement programs, are completely personalized as per your current skills. So don't worry about anytime. Don't worry about that. Where do I get questions as per my skills? You go either to MyCode or PrepBytes platform. It's absolutely fine. So okay, now I'll take your questions. Can we get answers for fundamental programs? Sorry, Anirudh, I didn't get your questions. Will you be sharing the recording with us? So Ishani, you can ask me any question. I'll repeat it again. If you are stuck in a question, should not look for answer. You should not look for solutions. If you see the solution, all your thought process will just get paused over there. Okay, you have to just go ahead and think more. Maybe take some hint from a friend, or maybe you read some article, a part of the article. You will find some hints over here as well. Okay. This MyCode is completely free, Abhishek. The program that I've shared, Expert Coder, it is paid. Thank you so much, Bhavesh. A good reference book for C++. So Soham, if you have to learn object-oriented, there's a book called Object-Oriented Programming with C++. And if you have to learn C++ basics, then any book is absolutely fine. You can just see the reviews and you can see the top few books. Okay, I'm not remembering the exact author name, but any book is fine for the beginning. Book for data structure. So if you have to practice data structure questions, then you can go for okay, I don't know why I'm forgetting all the dates right now. So there is a very famous book. It's Karumanchi. Okay. So I don't remember author names very frequently. So you guys can follow Karumanchi, but that is majorly for, I'll say, a practice. Okay. And another thing is that even if you don't, particular concept you can learn, we all know that nowadays YouTube itself has a lot of resources. Okay. Thank you so much, Divyansh. No, only placement Python works for placement. So W is still nowadays in placements, in technical rounds, in technical MCQ rounds, there are questions from C and C out there. So you should know it C for sure. Just Python you can use for coding, but you should know C as well. Good resume, what does it include? So Pranesh, good resume includes ratings and ranks. So if you see, if you participate in contests here, you will be getting ratings and ranks. Apart from that, if you go ahead, you participate in code forces, code share, there also you get ratings, ranks, SPOJ for that matter. You put that on your resume, that will be amazing. Yes, as I said, Krishna, all the platforms are fine. If you're able to solve the questions there and you're able to do good in competitive programming, the platforms are fine. Thank you so much, Ashwarya. Thank you so much, Sahib. Thank you so much, Aditya. Ma'am, what rating should we target for first year student? So first year student, Anshuman, I would suggest first get started, get into the whole area of competitive programming. Okay. I've shared you guys the platform. So my code, I would suggest for first years, especially because this is the only personalized platform and your start will be easy. Once you have mastered coding, you can go ahead and participate in any coding competition. That's fine. I have started C, C++, Python. Okay, you don't do like three languages in one go. Shamika, oh my God, you have a bit complex name, Shamika. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Just take up any one language. Take up C++ if you know already. If you have any one of this language in current semester, then you take up that language and master that language. Apart from that, take up one language, maybe C++, and start on that. Okay. Okay, so I think I'll finish the session over here. I hope the session was useful for you guys. And okay, I got a power cut also here in my office. So I wish you guys all the very best. Keep working hard. And there are a lot of content. There's a lot of content around Prep Bites in general. You can follow our YouTube, Instagram, like a lot of places we are in where we keep posting useful content. And wish you all the best, very guys. All the very best, guys. I hope you guys go ahead and achieve your dream and do great in life. Bye bye. Good night. Take care.